First off, when it's losing stinks. Losing's no fun for anybody, and the hardest thing to coach, I've always said this, is when you can't score. And we have just, unfortunately, got in a stretch here in ACC games where we just have not been able to score. Our best offense a lot of times is offensive rebounding. We've been really, besides the North Carolina game, besides that game, we've been really good on the offensive glass. That's been some of our best offense. Transition has been some of our best offense, even though Pitt today deserves credit for their transition defense on getting back and taking us out of transition. And then another way you got to try to score when you're not generating some things off the dribble is free throws. And, unfortunately, we're not getting to the free throw line enough. I think both years, last year and this year, we're dead last in the ACC in free throw attempts. So we've got to be able to get to the free throw line more. So look, I know when it's I know it's beyond frustrating for the fans. It's beyond frustrating I know it's for the players, for me, for everybody when you're stuck in a segment of not being able to score the ball. And we just got to continue to tinker, adjust, figure something out to help us get more points and not get stuck. We shot 41% from three, which that's great, obviously. And we've been shooting better from the 3-point range. It's just we've had teams are starting to stay home on some different things, and there's some opportunities where we're able to drive the ball, and you've got to be able to win that matchup. You've got to be able to win that individual matchup and play around the hoop and be able to score that and be able to beat your guy off that dribble. It is basketball, so you got to take that first step and be able to win that first dribble, and that's something that we've got to continue to get better at. I thought our guys played hard. They competed. They gave everything they had on the floor. We had 5 turnovers the first half, 5 the second half. First play out of the timeout, and Rodney knew it. He tried to throw it home. That wasn't the play, and we had a lack of execution there. But 15 assists on 24 made field goals. Defensively, we were fine. We held them to 42% from the field, 30 from 3. It's just, like I said, 14 offensive rebounds. We couldn't score again. We just got in a stretch where we just could not score the ball. And we've got to do better at winning the game in the paint, trying to score more in the paint, and right now we're not scoring enough in the paint.
Questions? Kelly?
Obviously, Jayvon didn't look right when he was out there, and I imagine that's huge impact because it seemed like there were opportunities for lobs and things like that. And you just can't really do that with Rodney. How much did that impact when they were closing out?
Jayvon was sick yesterday and on Thursday, and he came this morning to shoot around and said he wasn't feeling good, but he was going to give it a try. So he just said, and even in the first couple minutes, like he went up there, he would have dunked. He usually went up going to dunk, and he was below the rim and got it blocked on that first where we threw it ahead to him, if you remember. And he just says, "Coach, I have no energy." So yeah, I mean he did the best he could. Nothing that he could not that wasn't on him.
You're talking about offensively you wanted to have that first quick step to get to the hoop. It seems like that's what Pitt did against your defense when you were in man-to-man. Well,
yeah, they did some things, but the defense didn't. That wasn't the issue. We held them to 42 and 30. Of course, we fouled towards the end, but I've said it. To win in this league, you got to get to 70. You got to get to 70 points offensively. You got to get to 70, and we're not getting to 70. That's just the bottom line. So. Listen, this is the ACC. Pitt's got good players. They're well coached. They're a good team, and they got good guys, so they can beat you. But we've got to be able to get to 70. And in basketball, you've got to be able to get downhill on some areas. And I mean that's just basketball, And it's not you got to be able to beat your man downhill a little bit on that first step. And they did credit to Pittsburgh, like I said, Rod. They did a good job in transition defense. We didn't get enough points in transition. We've been that's been one of our ways to score in his transition. We just unfortunately didn't get enough in there.
Yeah, I was just looking at the box score. If this stat is right, they only had 5 assists, which means that there was a lot of 1-on-1 going on.
Yeah, but that's correct. But again, we held them to 71 total. If you take out some of the fouls, I mean it's in mid-60s. We have to be able to get to 70. We've got to be able to get to 70 points. You have to get to 70 in this league to win games. And we're having real struggles to score, unfortunately. And again, I'm not blaming there's nothing on the players or that's on me. I've got to figure it out. I got to do a better job. I've got to come up with something to help us get to 70 on whatever that is. We've got to be able to get to 70. I know offensive rebounding, that's been a calling card of ours. Transition offense, and today they did a nice job on that. And transition defense, Pittsburgh. We got to get to the free throw line more. So those are 3 areas. And then we've got to generate some more points in the paint or whatever it may be in our individual matchups through half-court offense. We just got to continue to adjust and figure that out.
What's going on with Jaylen Moore? I think you were +4 with him on the court in the first half, and then he played 2-3 minutes the second half.
Yeah, look, Jaylen, we've got to find a way to. I need to find a way to continue to get Jaylen on the court. Part of it is, he was injured those earlier, but I just felt, he had a couple turnovers, and it started that second half. Kelly, he missed a couple shots there, and we just were kind of in a rut. And I was just trying to find something, a group that was getting us going. So it was nothing with Jaylen whatsoever. And that's what I'm saying. We got to continue to tinker to figure out what we've got to do to help do some things to continue to even get Jaylen, just have him stay on the floor. So it was nothing with Jaylen, Kelly, other than I was just trying to find a group to get us going. And then we had some chances there. How many times we cut it to 3 or whatever, or 4, and we couldn't get a stop. We got stuck on 53 forever. And that's the deal.
Anything else? Ken?
They had that 6-0 run early in the second half. They got up 10, and like it felt. It seemed like the shots you were taking were good enough, but it just like at that point it sort of felt like that was just a really big hill to climb. Coming back just the way the offense was playing.
Well, we got yeah, I know, and we got good looks, but it's a make and miss game, and you got to make it. And look, basketball is a game of runs, Ken, and there's going to be times where we all know you're going to have an off night or a run or two is not going to go your way. The issue is we've had it's been multiplied in the ACC games of us getting good opportunities and not making it. And we've, you got to get to 70. And I've always said this, guys got to be able to score. We got to, in basketball, we can put them in the systematically position, especially defensively, to always give us a chance. We can always, but offensively, there's just some times there where individually you just got to win that individual matchup, or you got to make that open shot. That's a big deal. But we've got to continue to tinker and adjust, and that does not fall on the players. That falls on me. That we've got to find a way to get to 70. And if we keep getting good looks and we're missing them, it is what it is. But we got to continue to do what we've got to do to find a way to somehow every game get to 70, with holding true to who we are defensively.
You were 3 for 14 on layups, and they were whatever.
That's a real
24.
That's a real problem of ours right now, is scoring in the paint.
And
to really win at the high level, you got to score in the paint. Yes, you got to make open threes and all that, but you got to score in the paint. And we have, and in these stretches where we're not getting to 70, we're just not scoring enough in the paint. You've got to win the paint game.
Yeah, I think you were under 30% inside the arc too, shooting, and you shot 3 free throws. Just kind of what's going on. Like, it seems like you're not getting any calls around the basket on maybe what we call 50-50 plays, right, where it's a judgment call. What can you do to get those opportunities? There was 2 in the Notre Dame game that probably cost you that game, where guys got fouled under the rim as well, and it was a no call or the official shrugged it off or whatever. What do you do when that happens?
Yeah, it's interesting in the league meetings, everyone always talks about, for the officiating, about that 50-50 calls can make or break, on either direction, good or bad, in a game. It's so much about getting the 50-50 calls correct. But again, nothing against the officiating whatsoever. But last year and this year, we are last in the ACC in free throw attempts, and I do think we drive the ball a lot in the paint. So again, I'm not saying anything on the officiating. What I'm saying is we've got to be better at being able to score in the paint. And if there's a foul and there was something that wasn't called, we still got to be good enough to be able to finish through that contact. But right now, yes, we need to get to the free throw line more. And unfortunately, we're just not scoring enough in the paint. And no matter as much as you want to shoot threes and make threes, you've got to win the paint game. And we're getting to the paint a lot, and we're just not winning those matchups. And that's been part of our issues of struggling to score. And I know when you're not scoring, it's deflating for everybody. It's deflating for the fans. I mean, I know I said this earlier. I mean, it's deflating. It's no fun. I get that. And we're capable of scoring, so we've just got to continue to figure this thing out to get to 70. I mean, we've got to get to 70 and continue to hold who we are defensively. If we can do that, we'll be in good shape. Because the issue right now is not defense, because, you know, you hold Notre Dame to low 60s to start, you know, in regulation. You get Carolina. I mean, again, you start fouling late. Virginia offense. You know, we're not able. It's not our defense. Our defense, we got to score offensively, and that's why we've got to get to 70. But we can't give up our defense, and you can't trade off. You got to be who you are defensively, and then get to 70.
Do you see defenses now trying to really shut down Miles? And it seems like he's sort of getting frustrated now, and that's leading to some bad things. Yeah,
they're really. I mean, Miles is the top on the other team's scouting report. I mean, he's a good player. Miles is a really good player, and he's one of the leading scorers in the ACC, and teams are really getting underneath him. And he's had some opportunities to get downhill, and he's just, got to be strong enough at those times to make some of those plays, which he will. I mean, he's still a young guy. I mean, you got to remember, he didn't play a lot last year. So, I mean, this is his first full year of playing major minutes. So, hopefully the more he plays, the better he'll get. And as we get going in mid-January here, hopefully the minutes he's received, he's able to see the pay off the dividends of it. And he's just got to understand teams are going to game plan for him.
Time for one more for Coach Pastner. Kelly.
Not to give you an excuse out, but when was the last game you played where you had everyone healthy this season? Like of your core 8 guys or whatever.
It's been a while.
Because you had no Jayvon last game. You had, I think, guys out at Florida State, right?
Guys out at Florida State. We had injury. Yeah, it's been before North Carolina. Obviously, Jayvon and Davon got hurt during the game, and it's been. I think the last time was Georgia.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.